Okay, so buckle up, because we're not talking about just another scrap here. We're witnessing a complete earthquake that just rearranged the entire lightweight hierarchy and caught everyone completely off guard. You had all the die-hard fans going all in, completely convinced Paddy was untouchable and his dominance would roll on forever, but those warning signs were already there, and now the whole division looks like it got hit by a freight train. And here's what nobody wants to admit out loud. The elephant in the room that everyone's tiptoeing around. This one massive moment didn't just deliver a winner, it sparked a wildfire that's going to reshape the lightweight scene for decades. So let me pull you back to reality right now, because you need to understand just how insane this was. How one battle, this brutally savage and downright chaotic mess that crossed every line imaginable, turned into a game-changing decision. A decision that even while people are still partying, already reeks of drama and hidden truths just begging to surface.
Obviously delivered in the main event, capped off with a war. Just give us your thoughts on Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett delivering a 5-round battle.
Yeah, I mean, what a couple. So Paddy Pimblett at the weigh-ins yesterday says, I'm going to knock this motherfucker out tomorrow. And I was like, that's interesting. And he never abandoned that game plan. Even when, he got dropped a couple times, I kept waiting for him. I'm like, he's eventually going to have to shoot and try to submit him. Now, I didn't know Paddy Pimblett had a chin like that till tonight. And, yeah, absolute dogfight in a war, and much respect to both guys.
The only choice. And I knew he wasn't going to quit. He's not a quitter. I've never seen him quit, never seen him give up. And luckily I found some success early. Like I said, I was going to have to steal some momentum, and half of wrestling is stopping people from taking you down. And that's what I was best at. And so luckily I was successful tonight from keeping him there. I thought I grappled well. I was in his guard, in his guard a little bit. If I took my foot off the pedal for a second, he was on my ass. And he did a good job up to the last second. I really wanted to finish him. But I loved teaching him a lot. He said my face was not going to look the same after the fight, and his would look the exact same. So as soon as it was over, I was like, well, look at your face, motherfucker. It does not look the same. You cannot have that mentality when you come in there. He needs to accept the worst possible outcome, and that's how you perform the best, when the pressure's not.
I know what I'm talking about. I knew Justin was going to win, but I will tell you guys, he won it in kind of a fluky way. There were multiple eye pokes, and he kind of did get him in the balls. But, chat, can I ask you guys a genuine question? And I'm not shitting on anybody. Do you guys really think either of them are going to beat Topuria? Come on. And I like both fighters, but, dude, I'm not going to lie, bro. Topuria is going to kill whoever. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. It really does not matter. That's the problem. Dude, Topuria is it's going to be crazy.
But hold up, you probably think you witnessed everything as it happened live. Let me tell you something though, what actually went down in those crucial seconds. What was hanging in the balance right before that bell sounded went way deeper than any recap could ever show you. This wasn't your typical cage walk. These were two warriors entering a furnace, understanding that every strike they threw, every impact they absorbed, was carving their legacy not just into the record books, but into a story that people would argue about, analyze, and share in hushed tones years from now. Everything was perfectly arranged. You could cut the tension with a knife, and everyone watching had no clue about the massive shockwaves that were about to tear through everything we thought we knew about this sport.
know, the emotions after the victory were obviously very clear in the cage, but I just wonder if you can kind of put it into words now, just how much that result meant to you in getting the win tonight.
Yeah, I felt like I took winning for granted for a while. I feel like I just never lost. Now coming off 2 losses, I was like, man, it really feels good to win. So I just, yeah, I don't usually get like that too. I usually after a win, I just kind of, you know, like I said, I just feel like I was always going to win. So after coming off those losses, I was definitely.
Man, that was satisfying.
Not an easy fight, obviously, and you know, you dominated the 3rd round. First 2 rounds were a little tougher. What do you think was the key to having such success in that 3rd round versus what played out in the opening 2 rounds?
Yeah, I feel like the first 2 rounds, like he took me down at the end of both of them, but he didn't really do anything. I don't know. I feel like I didn't even know I got hit. Tim said there was a video, he hit me with like a left hook, but I just feel like I didn't even take any damage other than inflicting, you know, damage on myself from kicking him and stuff. But yeah, I feel like I won every round as far as damage goes, but I'd have to go back and watch it.
Yeah. The way the judges had it, they had you winning round 1 and round 3 obviously was clear. I know after the fight was over, I saw you know you're walking around, you're like, hey, that's my fight. I won that. That's my fight. Was that you kind of like hoping and thinking, or did you know for sure? Did you felt confident?
Again, I didn't feel like I got hit. Like, so in my head at the time, I mean, I must have got hit once or twice, but I really didn't feel like I got hit.
G versus Topuria, it's probably going to be a crazy fight also, most likely.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be interesting. I think that Ilya hits like a truck, and so does Gaethje, and I think if Gaethje prepares properly and gets ready for this fight, it should be a fun one.
So there it was. The moment of truth arrived. They slapped hands in that brief show of respect before all hell broke loose, and I'm telling you, my heart just sank, because the instant Gaethje stepped forward. This wasn't just advancing, this was raw, unfiltered violence in motion. Every single step radiated deadly purpose. And those low kicks from Paddy. Listen, these weren't just defensive moves. These were surgical strikes, meant to break down and create opportunities. The thing is, we still haven't gotten the full picture on Justin since this went down. His condition is still this massive unknown. After a war like that, a clash that literally forced him to tap out, it really makes you think, doesn't it? The interim title, the unification bout, maybe it's all just theater at this point. Could there actually be a real argument that if he's genuinely damaged, he should be sidelined for months? The very air was electric, with raw anticipation. And then Gaethje just completely dominated the space with his presence. He wasn't just throwing strikes, he was connecting with body shots that could hospitalize someone. And he was doing this against Gaethje no less. That right cross though, that was his go-to weapon. Constantly searching, always ready to strike, this ever-present danger. You could actually feel the energy change, hear the crowd gasp collectively when Gaethje fired off that massive overhand right. Then boom, just like that, complete mayhem took control. Because right here folks, technique went out the window. This became pure animalistic pride, crashing into desperate survival instinct. And I'm absolutely certain that someone in that octagon, in that precise instant understood. Way too late that they weren't just battling another fighter. They had lost all control of the chaos. They were trapped inside it, completely helpless. And that's when the floodgates burst wide open. A crushing knee, then a savage uppercut, and finally the inevitable drop. How Justin went after it. How he sensed weakness and pounced. It wasn't calculated, it was pure predatory instinct unleashed. And when Paddy somehow miraculously rolled away and bounced back up, only to immediately eat another kick that sent him down again, that's when this ice-cold realization hit me like a truck. Holy crap, I realized. This isn't just a brutal fight. This is spinning out of control into something genuinely terrifying, something that could end careers. And honestly, if you think the cage violence was intense, just wait until you discover the rumors about what nearly destroyed everything backstage afterward, because that's when Gaethje, like he made some kind of pact with chaos itself, began throwing bombs like someone who decided protecting himself was now completely irrelevant. He was literally walking into uppercuts, willingly absorbing punishment, like he was trying to prove something, and that's exactly when the eye poke happened. It was obvious, it was nasty, and it was crystal clear to everyone watching. But then in this moment that made zero sense, the audience started jeering the wrong fighter, and I swear, right then something in the fight, in the entire building, just shattered. Because drama doesn't just appear from thin air, it grows fangs when somebody somewhere clearly profits from the mayhem and confusion. And as round 2 exploded into action, Justin was throwing haymakers with such ferocity that he was stumbling over his own feet, completely off balance, while Paddy's uppercuts were like a metronome, one crushing blow after another. Yet somehow Gaethje just kept pressing forward, treating pain like it was personally offensive to him. But pay very close attention here, because this is exactly when the rumors really started spreading, because there were people ringside, actual witnesses, who noticed something. And if that something ever gets good, I guarantee it will completely change how we see this entire round. Gaethje attacked the body with punishing kicks, then snapped heads back with his right hand, and the expression on Justin's face when one of those connected flush, that wasn't panic. No, it was something much more disturbing, ice-cold focus, and that terrifies me even more, because elite fighters, the best of the best, they don't get that look unless they're consciously choosing maximum violence over self-preservation. And when he then pushed Paddy down, and started diving through those dangerous upkicks, I was certain, absolutely certain, that we were heartbeats away from catastrophe, a moment that would haunt someone forever. Paddy made it through, but just barely, his face shredded, blood covering everything. Round 3 started, and like some twisted prophecy, he got dropped once more, as if fate wanted him eliminated. But then like some kind of dark sorcery, he sprang back up, like it never even happened. And right there, Justin's endless output, his relentless pressure, faltered, just slightly, just enough to shift everything. And I'm telling you straight up, that hesitation, that barely noticeable change in rhythm, that was the opening that let all the chaos that followed pour right through, and suddenly leg kicks were doing real damage. Jabs started finding their mark, and then inevitably that knee caught the groin. Intentional or not, it completely stopped everything. And when action resumed, Paddy looked noticeably refreshed, more focused, while Justin seemed genuinely frustrated, in that dangerous way that historically leads to terrible choices inside the cage. If you think that's just random chance, then you're missing the bigger picture completely. Then came those championship rounds, those brutal final frames that feel almost wrong to watch. Justin was literally emptying his entire arsenal, throwing absolutely everything including the kitchen sink. Yet Paddy's counters stayed surgical, accurate enough to make every advance costly. The heart both men showed was absolutely ridiculous, beyond human limits. But here's what's bothering me, and this matters. Sometimes toughness masks something deep. There was something deeply troubling about how this momentum shifted, almost like it was created by pure soul-crushing fatigue, rather than clear tactical superiority. By that 5th and final round, the crowd had lost their minds. This throbbing mass of pure emotion feeding off this epic battle between raw power and absolute refusal to quit. Neither fighter would even flinch, much less give ground. And then, yet again, another knee, another brutal low blow, and this time Justin collapsed to the mat, holding himself in pure agony, like time just stopped completely. And as I watched this drama unfold, this disturbing thought crept into my head. Man, this finish, this whole climax, is gonna look really strange in hindsight, once people really dig deep, once they start demanding answers about who was aware of what, and crucially, when exactly did they find out. Then those scorecards came out, and the atmosphere was suffocating. 48-47, 49-46, 49-46. Unanimous for Gaethje, and immediately my mind raced. Whoa, wait a minute. Because those scores, those final numbers, they don't just crown a champion, they carefully craft an entire narrative. And narratives like this one always come with hidden details. The small print that nobody bothers reading until everything falls apart. People are already labeling it Fight of the Year, an instant legend, and sure, absolutely, it was completely wild, a testament to human determination. But true legends don't usually come loaded with this many question marks, this much obvious controversy, this electric tension buzzing just under the surface. And I can't escape this nagging sense that somebody out there is staying very, very silent right now, when they definitely shouldn't be. And that quiet, my friends, is echoing like a sonic boom. You probably think this whole story wraps up right here, with hardware and applause, everything tied up neatly, but I don't buy that for 1 second, because divisions remember nights like this one, fighters remember wrongs, real or imagined, athletic commissions remember mountains of documents, the protests, the investigations, and if even a fraction of what I'm sensing, what my instincts are screaming, turns out to be true, then this outcome, this official verdict, isn't resolving anything at all. It's just postponing an inevitable eruption. I genuinely can't shake this overwhelming feeling that somebody somehow definitely escaped consequences for something major, that something critical was masterfully concealed, in broad daylight, hidden by all the blood, sweat, and complete pandemonium of that evening. And every time I mentally replay those sequences, my instincts are yelling, absolutely not, this story isn't finished, not by a long shot, because believe me, the next revelation, the next detail that surfaces, could completely transform everything you think you just witnessed. So I'm asking you to sit with that unease, because while the party continues, the doubts are multiplying rapidly, anger is quietly building, and the lightweight division feels exactly like a bomb waiting to go off, with the safety barely hanging on, and when it explodes, when everything goes completely insane, please don't pretend to be shocked, because this fight didn't actually conclude, it just temporarily went off the air.